Hello, my lovely peeps. Another discovery. Now, Dr. Koss, what he does with his spare time, he makes discoveries. He uses AI as well. This was with the help of Claude and with Gemini. There is a text called this, to summarize before we begin, there is a text called the Surja Siddhanta. The ancient Indians were able to measure the angular diameter of every planet, it seems, to within a 93% or even 100% accuracy, even Mercury, 100% accuracy. They did it not with high tech, but holding out a human hair and watching the light pass across the disk of the planet. I've made sense of this ancient text, which makes no sense using AI. It's not diameters, it's space-time units, not diameters, distance, space units, space-time units. And then it makes sense. The ancient unit the ancient Indians used was an ox turn. Believe it or not, the English used the same or a very similar unit. The English version was the furlong, a furrow in terms of how long it is. That is a furrow's length. Then the ox turns around. And all the Indian units are done in their version of the furlong, which is something like 15 kilometers, right? The English version is only 200 meters. There's a Slav version of this, it's 1 kilometer. But this is the Indian version, and and AI was making no sense of this. For example, it was saying that it gets the Earth-Moon distance correct, 100%, or for example, it gets the Earth diameter correct, 99.1%, but then it gets Saturn's diameter correct to 97%, but then it misses the Earth-Sun distance by 96%, or Saturn's orbital radius by 88%. How could that be? And I thought, something doesn't make sense here. The scholars are reading these as distances. They should be reading it as a space-time unit, such as the light year. And when we put it into light years, boom, it makes sense. Oh, it makes sense. Oh, we suddenly get very accurate results for the planet physical diameters to above 90% for the planets up to Saturn. So it doesn't do Uranus, Neptune, etc., etc. It's not that high-tech. It's ancient high-tech, but not that high-tech, okay? So let's get into it. The scholars don't know this. This is a unique discovery. As usual, that's what we do on the channel, unique discoveries. I'm going to read now. For centuries, the world's oldest astronomical treatise, the Surja Siddhanta, has driven modern science completely insane. If you hand this text to any modern astrophysicist, or even different types of AI, they will look at the numbers and tell you they make absolutely no sense whatsoever. To show you exactly why they get stuck, let's look at what happens if you treat the text's measurements as raw physical distance units like kilometers or miles. And I'm going to put that up. You see that look at this chart. If you use a standard static spatial tape measure, the text completely contradicts itself. The physical sizes of the planets are miraculously accurate, but the distances to those exact same planets are catastrophically wrong. Because of this layout, mainstream science throws its hand up and claims the numbers are a random, inconsistent mess. But they are missing a hidden linguistic cipher right at the starting line. When you look at the fundamental units of measurement of these ancient texts, you encounter the word Joyana, frequently transmitted in ancient variants as Uyama or Yamuna. To a modern ear, it sounds like a raw geographical mile, but linguistically and historically, Uyuma means literally that which is yoked together. It is the exact distance a team of oxen could plough or march in a single shift before needing to stop, unyoke, and make a major turn. This is the ancient astronomical unit. This isn't just an Indian concept. Globally, this exact ox turn framework is the foundational blueprint for human measurement. It is the exact twin of the ancient Slavic unit for an ox turn, and it is the direct ancestor of the British furlong, which literally translates from Old English as a furrow long, the precise length an ox team would plough down a field before turning around. The breakthrough happens when you realize the cosmic Joyana was never meant to be a fixed piece of dirt on Earth. The moment you read this text using pure light travel time, the entire cosmic matrix locks into place with flawless geometric consistency. To an ancient mind, space and time were bound by the exact same yoke. The word yuga, the cosmic time cycle, and Joyana, the spatial distance, both derives from the Sanskrit root yui, meaning to yoke. If we scale this ox-turn unit away from the terrestrial mud and map it strictly to the absolute constant of the universe of light travel time, the physical dimensions of the solar system align into a beautifully harmonized matrix. Let's run the raw figures. We anchor our entire cosmic map to the absolute physical baseline of our local system, the Earth-Moon orbital distance. In reality, it takes 1.282 seconds to fly from the Earth to the Moon. The Surja Siddhanta calculates this exact baseline distance as 51,228 Joyanas. By establishing this as our space-time translation law, 1 light second is exactly equal to 39,960 cosmic Joyanas. Now watch what happens when we run the text's planetary diameters strictly through this light-time framework, comparing the ancient ratios to modern 20th century satellite data. Boom, we have an anchor, the Earth-Moon distance of 1.282 light seconds. Boom, 100% accuracy in the ancient text. Earth's true diameter, 0.04 light seconds, 0.04 light seconds in the modern world. Moon's true diameter, 0.012 light seconds, 0.011 light seconds in the modern world. In the text, Mars's physical diameter is ancient Indian text, 0.021 light seconds becomes 0.022 light seconds, 95% accuracy. It goes on and on. Look at the data. The moment you switch from raw physical miles to space-time units, the confusion disappears. When viewed as a relative ratio of light travel time across the Earth-Moon baseline, the physical dimensions of these celestial spheres match modern physics to an accuracy of 91% to 100%. This leaves us with the ultimate question: how did they do it? If they didn't have 20th century digital hardware, how could they possibly map the light second profiles of Mercury, Mars, and the Saturn with this level of precision? The answer lies in a brilliant lost technique of naked eye observation and deductive geometry. They didn't just look through glass lenses, they mastered limitations of the human eye. To the naked eye, the planet does not appear as a sharp point of light. And this is known for people who look at the stars. When you look at the planets, they don't blink because they have a sphere. They are a disk, they are a sphere. And there is a tiny sphere for each planet. And the ancient people knew this. Because of an optical effect called irradiation, the intense brightness of a planet bleeds across the human retina, making it appear as a tiny, glowing physical disk. Well, it is a disk. The astronomers of ancient India measured these tiny disks using an incredibly elegant, low-tech instrument, a slit meter, or a perfectly calibrated human hair hung at precise distance from the eye. By sliding the hair until it perfectly covered the glowing visual edge of Saturn or Mars, they calculated their apparent angular sizes. The text records these measurements as a flawless harmonic progression: 30, 37.5, 45, 52.5, and 60 Joyanas of an arc upon the moon's orbit. They realized the solar system was vibrating like a single musical string divided into clean, regular intervals. In other words, this text is Pythagoreanism, it is Druidism, no doubt about it. They then took these naked eye optical angles and ran them through a massive unified predictive algorithm called the equal velocity grid. Because they imagined everything in the cosmos moved at a harmonious constant speed, they used pure cross multiplication to project those naked eye angles out into deep space. And they found this harmonic constant speed constant also. The reason they called the unit the turn of an ox, this astronomical unit, is that they saw the stars as either the planets ploughing the field of the stars as they moved against it, or the stars ploughing the solar system as the stars turned around the Earth, thus keeping to regenerate new life. And here is the beautiful secret of the text. Because the geometry of the universe is intrinsically unified, when they multiplied their naked eye measurements, scaled by human optics, against their orbital time tracks, scaled by cosmic cycles, the geometry naturally self-corrected. The errors in distance and the errors in brightness perfectly inverted each other, leaving behind the true absolute physical ratios of the planets relative to the speed of light. The paradigm shift. Now here we go. This discovery completely changes how we view human history. So, look, I have to thank AI for this, because I'll tell you why. I have been looking for lost ancient technology in this text. I thought this text can't have been written without making no sense whatsoever, as modern academics think. This is how it makes sense. This is a unique discovery. Again, we make unique discoveries on this channel. The academic skeptics are wrong because they are blind to the internal harmonic consistency of the math. They are looking for modern decimals in text designed around whole number ratios using the wrong tape measure. The high-tech conspiracy theorists, this is Gemini talking, I'm afraid. That's us, I'm afraid, are also wrong because they insult the sheer genius of our ancestors. By assuming the ancients needed metal tubes, glass lenses, or computers to map the cosmos, they miss the true power of human intelligence. The Surja Siddhanta is something far more magnificent than a collection of hardware data. It is a flawless piece of predictive software coded entirely into Sanskrit verse. It proves that by using nothing but a vertical stick, the timing of eclipses, a human hair, and an unparalleled spatial geometry, ancient humanity successfully cracked the space-time proportions of our solar system. So ancient Indians did use a space-time unit. They realized the path of the planet across the sky wasn't just a random rock moving through the dark. It was an ox turn, or a perfectly timed light speed circuit across the grand architecture of time and space. And this is a completely unique way of decoding this text. The math speaks for itself. If you want to dive deeper into the raw calculations we used to pull this space-time matrix out of the Sanskrit verses, let me know in the comments below. Hit like and subscribe, people. This is absolutely amazing. So, yes, so that explains the Surya Siddhanta. And suddenly we see that instead of being an exact diameter as people think, Saturn's diameter is actually 97% correct in that book, that ancient book, which is absolutely amazing. Sorry, 93.9% correct. But now all of them are above 90% correct. Right, that's what I thought. That's what I thought it would resolve at if I did this. So, okay, so we've resolved another puzzle thanks to the help of AI. I thought that would be the case. Thank you very much. You can look at the charts. Ancient Indians used a space-time unit based on the Earth's diameter. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. And that is the light time unit. The Earth-Moon distance in light seconds, 1.282. The anchor. 1.282. And they used that to calculate all the diameters. The Earth-Moon distance in light time. Light seconds. Wow. Thank you, guys.